we're going to start breaking things down into components that you and I can code. Using the previous example, what I'm going to do is create a base or a superclass called employee that's going to frankly be the object that shares a lot of these items, and it's going to pass it down to those objects using the inheritance, the keyword inheritance here, into the other objects that we're going to have and need to support it. Now again, there's going to be some code that says, hey, this is inherited from here, so that's coming up next. But again, we're just breaking down the design when we get into all of this first. So notice it will look at first like part-time professor only has two data types, or two pieces of data, contact number, employee. But inside of that class, you're going to see that inherits from employee. It's the same thing with full-time professor. The object that you're coding at first just looks like it has vacation days, health insurance, phone, office phone, tenure, but you're going to see that inherits all of these items within it. It just makes it a richer experience, but also, frankly, we're lazy. We don't have to recode the employee over and over again. Or, here's the better part, pretend we want to add something that every employee is going to have. Let's say they have some, Social Security number, people can't use that anymore. So let's say you have some unique identifier number. As long as we add it to employee, then anybody else that inherited it, of a part-time employee or full-time professor, they're going to end up having that access as well. So really nice setup on how we can do all of this just in theory. Now in practice, we're going to create more specialized subclasses, just like we're doing here. A specific task that adds to the superclass, we talked about that with UIN. By the way, these are just so far variables. I haven't even gotten into the functions yet. And the functions are the same thing. If you have a certain function that you're going to need for every one of the employees, throw it into the employee class. If you have a very specific function you need for a part-time professor, you will leave it here and it will not be inherited from employee. So functions are basically the same idea. Now, we have to worry about our complete class profile with our accessors, mutators, overloads. All those items come into play, and you'll see the examples of that here in a little bit. But that's going to be, this is juggling everything around here when it comes to really just the design of what we have for employee. This design is not complete. This design is just going over the data members first, and then we need to think about the functions that really should be incorporated after that. So again, this is a partial picture. I'm just trying to show you how we're starting to break it down into our inherited objects.